WNST. Tassel's giving me a chance to reach out to a bunch of former Ravens. I got a guy here who played at the end of the Modell administration, but then went down to Atlanta and made a life down there. He was a fullback here under Brian Billick in that offense and went down to Atlanta in 2007 and is still there, still talking Falcons football down there on the radio at 92.9 The Game in Atlanta. We welcome him back, and I get to see him at Super Bowls from time to time, and I'm assuming if the Atlanta Falcons win, Ovi Mihaly, you might be in Houston with us 2 weeks from now. I know what that's like when the city has a big game like this. I mean, everybody's running around in Falcon swag down there, right?
Absolutely, man. It's first of all, good to talk to you, Nestor.
Good to have you on.
It's crazy. It's crazy down here. I've been to the playoffs 5 times, twice with the Ravens, 3 times with the Falcons, and unfortunately, I have an 0-for-5 record in the playoffs. Like I've never won a playoff game. So watching these guys have this success, I'm living vicariously through them. And the fans are crazy. People treat me like I'm almost a former player. When they see me, they just come to me and hug me and want an autograph. I'm like, I haven't played in like half a decade. No, I'm just, you're a Falcon. The Falcons are on fire. So even the fair weather fans are jumping on the bandwagon and enjoying this. So the city's lit right now.
Well, and I remember Mike Smith getting tossed out, and I know you spent some time down there with him as well. And new coach comes in. By the way, I mean Dan Quinn's got local ties here. Went to Salisbury State. I've met him the last couple of owners meetings and at the combine. I'll tell you what, Arthur Blank, whatever the criticism you may want to level, he's had a couple of pretty good men as coach there lately. And obviously Dan Quinn's picked this thing up. But when you have the quarterback, and I know you know all about Matt Ryan, and that's probably why they want to hug you, because they still see you in the backfield behind him. This is really his train right now, and this is his chance to do what Joe Flacco's already done and what a lot of these other quarterbacks have done.
Absolutely. Matt Ryan is somebody who's been compared. I feel like his arc is a little Peyton Manning-esque, because Peyton Manning, people forget, he lost a lot. When he was younger, going to the playoffs, he'd lose. Peyton Manning has one of the worst records in the playoffs as far as losses, because he gets there a lot, but then he has to find a way to actually win the games. Matt Ryan is finally at that point where he has experience in the playoffs to where he can understand how to not let the moment get bigger than him, how to rise to the occasion. So Matt Ryan is it's his team. I think it's his to lose. I love Tom Brady, love Aaron Rodgers, but with what Matt's doing at MVP level, I do think I'm a little biased, but the numbers show that when you're leading every single category and breaking records all over the place, he should be the MVP, and he's definitely the MVP for us.
Is this going to be a track meet, Ovi? I mean, I would say that, both of these defenses are going to struggle to contain the offenses. And I guess from Rodgers' perspective, Jordy Nelson and the weapons being taken away, I'm a little shocked that the Packers have gotten this far. And I tell you, I really got to tip my cap to Aaron Rodgers. He's trying to make a Hall of Fame case here right now, right? I mean, he's got a ring. He's in the Hall of Pretty Good. He's a really good quarterback. He makes a nice commercial. But getting back to a Super Bowl and winning again with this group, I don't think this is the most talented Green Bay Packers team.
No, it's not. I mean, first of all, you don't have your superstars. Everyone needs a big name. Everyone likes triplets, and who? You can't even say they have Aaron Rodgers and the triplets. Their running back, I'm not impressed by it. Their top receiver, Jordy Nelson, not even there. So it's just Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if that makes it better or that makes it harder for him, but he showed a little bit of Tom Brady in that anyone around him, he's raising their level of play just by him being so darn good at putting the ball in certain spots where only they can get it, leading receivers, putting the air underneath it, finding ways to be elusive, throw accurately on the run, all those things that the greats do, he's doing, and without much help. So I really hope that they'll give him the MVP because they say, oh, he doesn't have a Julio Jones in his arsenal, because Matt's doing the same thing, spreading the ball around, the most touchdowns, the most number of players in the history of the game. Just shows that it's all about the process for him.
In the case of Matt Ryan, you got to know him a little bit. I mean, tell me about him. I remember when I went to the Combine, it was the first year I'd ever gone to the Combine, and I literally walked into the interview room. It's a lot bigger now, man. It was a way different gig 10 years ago. This is just a little interview room with 100 reporters. Now there's, 1,000 reporters there, and it's a whole process. But I remember being so taken aback by his professionalism and maturity. You know what I mean? Like, even when he was at college, he would step up on the podium, and it felt like a third 30-year-old business executive. It kind of still does, you know what I mean? And now it feels like a 40-year-old business executive. But to your point, dude, you go back and you say, what have you won? Matt Ryan is the last guy in this tournament who has not been to the top of the mountain. All these other guys, they're doing discount double checks and making commercials and, got the celebrity wives and, got a fistful of rings and all that. Matt's the one outsider here, and I've always thought, even when Smitty was down there, that he's certainly capable of being that guy, but here's the stage for him.
Wow, that's so true, and I never thought about that as far as all the other quarterbacks. Matt's the new kid on the block with these other QBs. He's been in one NFC championship, but he doesn't have the record and the credentials of these other guys, and it can be a little bit overwhelming if you look at the boys club, the billionaire boys club that Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Ben Roethlisberger are all sitting in. Then Matt's sitting at the table by himself, lonely because he hasn't had the success they've had. It can be intimidating, but that's not how Matt thinks. It's not how he operates. And seeing him mature, seeing him progress, watching him go from a boy into a man, where his rookie year, I was on the field. It was my fifth, sixth year in the NFL. I just got the big contracts for the Atlanta Falcons. So I was kind of the man around town. And so Matt would come ask me sometimes about things here or there, or what do I think about this play, and he was just so humble, so meek. I'm like, how is this guy ever going to lead this darn team? He's skinny. I feel like he's going to turn to dust if he gets hit. His voice cracks sometimes in the huddle. I don't know how he's going to find a way to turn around. And then I saw him throw the ball. And then I saw him change when the ball was snapped. And then I saw him in the fourth quarter, yelling at guys, people 10 years older than him, grabbing their face, as a rookie, grabbing their face mask, saying, get your head in the game. We're going to do this. I'm like, wow. That's he's either crazy or he's very confident. And he's a little bit both. But watching Matt Ryan progress his rookie year let me know that he's ready for this moment right now.
Ovi Mihaly joining us here from Atlanta, GA. You can follow his journey out on Twitter at Ovi Mihaly34, as well as 680 The Fan, doing his thing down there. Also has a website, omfgreen.org as well. Usually joins us at the Super Bowl for some old memories. I had Alex Mack on the show back in March. He won the Ed Block Awards, Ovi. He came in, and all those years in Cleveland and the losing, everyone knew what a class act he was. The Falcons spent all the money on him. I remember what Matt Burke did for the offense in Baltimore, what he did for a young quarterback in Joe Flacco here. I don't know that Alex Mack's going to get all the credit, but if they get to the Super Bowl and they win a championship and you got a parade down there in 3 weeks, the signing of Alex Mack in the offseason for Dimitroff is going to be one of the big signings of the offseason.
No, Dimitroff has he has done about face of the likes I've never seen in my life. In my lifetime, he has gone so far from being hated and pitchforks and bonfires and get him out the city to, oh my gosh, Dimitroff has saved our franchise, and he's the reason that we are now going to the Super Bowl. Alex Mack is a big reason for that, because Alex Mack is a big reason for our quarterback success. Who pays the quarterback $100 million and then has him, banged up all over the place and treated like a ping pong ball between defensive ends going back and forth? It didn't make sense. We had one of the worst offensive lines for a long time right after Matt Ryan got that money, and he couldn't even drop back and feel comfortable. He couldn't even get the handoff or the snap. Shotgun snaps going to the ground, people stepping on his feet. It was bad for a long time. Alex Mack and what Dimitroff did to bring in a solid veteran who not only made Matt Ryan better, but made the whole offensive line better, that was huge. So Dimitroff is all his past transgressions have been forgotten.
Well, then there's Julio Jones, right? I mean, at one point having some trouble getting on the field. A difference maker, probably the best wide receiver in the game, right, Ovi? I mean, I don't know. We're gonna find out what that means over the next couple of weeks. But on a matchup basis, in having to try to mark him, 83 receptions, 1,400 yards, he'll be the difference maker. If they win the game this week, it's going to be because he's going to play a huge role.
I just hope he's healthy. And even if he's not, I know he's going to push past a little turf toe. But Julio Jones, the reason that he's such a difference maker now is because he doesn't have to be. I think this year, what's made him even more special is that he still garners a double team. But when that happens, all of the other receivers, the backs, the tight ends, they all step up in ways to where the defense really doesn't know, should I cover double team Julio or should I really spend this extra man on the rest of the team because they're both making plays. So Julio's so dangerous that when he does catch the ball, whether it's yards after the catch or whether it's a stiff arm to somebody to to send a message, it's just his presence there. It's such a win for the Falcons. I can't wait to see Julio. It's going to be a matchup nightmare against anybody who tries to cover him.
Are you shocked that this defense could lead them into a championship game? I mean, obviously Smitty got fired for the defense, right? I mean, the defense has been the Achilles heel there all the time. And if they lose on Sunday, it's probably going to be because Rodgers diced them up more than Ryan could dice up the Packers defense. But the Falcons defense has gotten better, but I didn't think it was NFC championship game worthy back in August.
No, I didn't think so either. The young guns. Every now and then, you know this, somebody can get a draft so right to where you have not one, not two, but like 3, 4, 5, 6 guys who are all contributing, who came in through the draft and through free agency and are all rookies. That's what we have. Like our young guys, whether we look at DeAndre Campbell or Keanu O'Neal, and some of our younger DBs, they've all made a difference with this Falcons team. They've all found a way to be disruptive and to get in the backfield and to knock down passes. I love it because the reason we brought over Dan Quinn was to bring Seattle Seahawks legendary Legion of Boom type defense to Atlanta, because we've always had a high-powered offense. I mean, shoot, when we had Tony Gonzalez, Roddy White, Julio Jones, and Matt Ryan, I mean, you couldn't get much better. Our air attack was legendary, but the defense always held us back. So all you had to do is add Dan Quinn, bring down Seattle. It didn't work last year. At least it didn't work the whole year. So this year, with more talent to run his system, it's working. So I never thought the defense would give us that Super Bowl type of presence, but they are, because they're not rookies anymore. The young guys we have, it's been a full season. The season's over. All the rest of the teams who aren't playing, their players are pretty much considered second-year players. So we have second-year players going into the Super Bowl with a lot of great, this talent behind them, a lot of great experiences behind them, ready to go.
Oh, you got a couple old farts running around there. They're your age, Chris Chester, Dwight Freeney, guys of your era. Makes you want to put a helmet back on, doesn't it?
It does. It does. I was blessed to get honored as a Falcon legend. Their words, not mine. A couple of weeks ago, when Michael Vick came back to the Dome, Roddy White came back to the Dome, they chose a couple other players who have, kind of played a big role in the Dome's football life. And because I was the first Pro Bowl fullback in the franchise's history, they brought me back and honored me with everybody else. And it was great. Every person I saw that day a couple weeks ago was like, Ovi, you got to get back on the field. Ovi, a couple more years. Ovi, come back out of retirement. Ovi. I'm like, I'm a daddy of 3. I played at 255. I'm a solid 270 right now. I do radio, sit behind. I work in sales. Like my wife's doing New York Life. I work with a medical device sales or medical services sales called Lab Solutions. So I just do a bunch of meetings with a bunch of doctors and take them out. It's going to be very hard for me to transition back into that monster that I was on the field. Now, it's fun to think about it, but the work involved is something that I think is in my past. And plus, I have enough concussions just from playing or practicing against the Ravens for a lifetime. So I'm good.
Well, you're using that Wake Forest education for something there, right?
Absolutely. At a certain point, no point getting a degree if you don't use it.
Hey, man, always a pleasure to check in with you. Enjoy the game as we can. The other side of this thing, when you're done, if they're doing the Dirty Bird dance down there and the Falcons are making their way to Houston, then you go sit around and watch the Steelers and the Patriots. I tell you, this is like ISIS and Al-Qaeda for us here, Ovi, right? I mean, I'm going to root for the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. I don't say that often, Bal.
I know. But it's hard because I detest Tom Brady. He's a great guy. I don't know him, but it is. Sometimes you hate people because they're good. I hate him because he's good. I don't think I ever beat Tom Brady. I've never gone to the Patriots. Maybe once to Baltimore, but not that I can remember beating them Baltimore or the Falcons up there or down here. It's just like every year they're good. Like, take a year off. You can't be good all the time. And then the Steelers are the Steelers, our hated rivals who I dislike, and guys who I don't know how the linebacker Harrington, how he's still playing. It's unreal, playing year after year after year. So I don't want either of them to win, but I especially don't like Tom Brady. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's you just got to sort of suck it up, watch the game, and realize that someone's going to win. I just would rather see Mike Tomlin in Houston than Bill Belichick.
Yeah,
that's just how I feel about it, personally.
Mike Tomlin over Bill Belichick, a lot more likable. Even with the video that Antonio leaked, that's a coach that you want to play for. Like, that's a coach that I'm like, you know what, I like that. And I don't expect that Antonio was Facebook Live in it and all about himself.
Was that about the dumbest thing you've ever seen from a player perspective?
My gosh, I was getting madder the more I watched it. I'm like, what is this dumb behind doing? Like, what is he thinking? Like, what? In his mind says this is okay. Nothing says this is okay. I'm happy that Coach gave it to him and laid into him. Even talked about, hey, good players move on all the time. You keep on acting foolish, thinking that your stuff doesn't stink. You can do whatever you want. We can't have that in this locker room. So it was so stupid because the coach could have said anything. You were Facebook Live in it. The coach could have said something about the next opponent.
Anything could have been said, right? I mean, we're lucky it was just him calling them a-holes and let's get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, I thought naked bodies were gonna. I mean, come on, man, we've been in those locker rooms. That's not a place for live video. It's just not ever, right?
Not at all. What if one of his teammates? Great point. What if one of his teammates was naked and then he has his stuff posted over and over and over all across the internet? Like, that's like a literal lawsuit. Like, for the rest of the time, especially if it's not what he wants to be putting out there, it's going to be a problem. And the privacy issues are through the roof anyway.
Yeah. Of course, man. But they're going to play football Sunday night, and as long as the Patriots don't win, I'm probably okay with it. I think and hey, the good news is, and Tomlin knows this, I'll be rooting against them if they win. I mean, I'll be a Falcon or a Packer fan 2 weeks from now. So I mean, I want to see the Steelers get to the Super Bowl and not have a parade. That would be fine with me. That would be the perfect outcome for me 3 weeks from now. Oh, if you take care of yourself, man, I hope I see you down in Houston. I guess if the Falcons win, you'll be down there for a little while, right?
If they win, I promise you I'll be down there.
All right, well, then we'll get together. I'll see you in a couple weeks, all right? We'll wish the Falcons good luck down there. We'll stay in touch on Twitter. Great having you on, Ovi, as always, man.
Thanks, buddy.
You got it. Ovi Mihaly, 34 is the way to find him at 680. The Fan Radio in Atlanta, GA as well. Ovi's always a great guest, great Raven, and a stellar Atlanta Falcon as well during his career playing with Matt Ryan down there. You can find me out the Buy a Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. Nasty at WNST.net reaches me. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live on our Facebook as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.